Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of the new Pissed Jeans album, Why Love Now. Piss on the jeans. It's true. That's it. These guys are an American rock band. This is their fourth full-length album for Sub Pop Records. They're known for their wild, animalistic, uncontrolled approach to punk rock, which is greatly inspired by groups such as the Melvins, Flipper, maybe a little bit of Jesus Lizard in there too. Basically any band that sounds like a bunch of Hulk-sized mutants playing their instruments while suffering from some anger management problems and severe mood swings. Now, this new record over here certainly stands out for me in the band's discography. While it may not be as chaotic and noisy and just completely off the rails as records like Hope for Men and King of Jeans, by comparison, the sound of this record is so much more muscular and defined and decisive. It's much more precise in its monstrous, hard-hitting riffs. Not only that, but I feel like the band's cynicism, their sense of humor, their absurdist view of the world is coming out in full force on the lyrics of this record. I think also kind of the group's cheeky attitude is broadcast in full view on the front cover of this album. Now, if you know anything about this band's sound, their style, if you've ever seen them live, you would know right from the get-go that it's kind of odd to see them looking so like, you know, hunky and adorable on like a light pink album cover, complete with an album title that telegraphs lighthearted indie pop songs you could put on a mixtape for your girl. Instead, when you put this album on, what you're presented with is one of the slowest, ugliest, and most sinister songs the band has ever kicked a record off with, complete with these groaning, elongated, freakish vocals. Roaring away about being an aging punk, waiting for that headache that never goes away, that lump somewhere on your body that seems to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Later in the song, making reference to your kids visiting you in the hospital. Another interesting piece in an ongoing narrative on a lot of new rock records that reflect on aging and death and a real sense of mortality. However, this is not the theme or the pace of the entire album, though I do think it is a good, taste to kind of get a sense of what the band is all about. Things really kind of pick up on the next song, The Bar Is Low, which is a pretty funny song concept, as the song seems to be about the bar for what makes someone a great or at least a decent human being seems to be pretty low, because generally people can be pretty awful. Or at least that's kind of my takeaway from it. And as far as the sound of the instrumental here, this kind of sounds like what would come of Motorhead if back in the day you cornered them into writing their funkiest song ever. The rhythm guitar on this thing is killer, the driving, kind of distorted, grimy bass line is great, and just the vocal delivery, the drums, it's just a perfect combination, creates a great vibe. The song IGNORECAM kind of takes the slickness out of the equation though, and brings us this loud, heavy, hard-hitting, freakish track that's so blaringly loud and animalistic, you can't ignore it. However, the refrain on this song dares you to do exactly that, screaming right in your face, "Ignore me!" The thick, meaty riffs on this thing are massively loud. And on this track, we have yet another hilarious contrast, another funny sort of song concept, as once you dive into the lyrics, they're kind of about sex and sexual attraction and interaction in the internet age, specifically kind of centering around like sexual cam shows. Weird idea, but it's the uniqueness of the concept that is part of why the track is so entertaining. The band's opinions on love's many ugly and strange mutations continue on moments like the closing track and the song Love Without Emotion, one of my favorite songs in the track listing here, which features these low-down bass lines, this really catchy but angular guitar lead. The vocals are much more measured too, not so much screaming in your face at this point. The song has an odd sensuality to it, but once you dive into the lyrics, the track, in my opinion, seems to be about like what is some kind of dead or dying or very routine relationship where the passion is not only gone, the excitement is not only gone, but also kind of really the concern and empathy for one another too, it seems. And I think there's an added layer of humor to that, because if you were to take the song simply on its sound and its chorus, you might go into this thing assuming that the track is just about like you know, fucking. You know, just like nasty, dirty, like visceral and sweaty fucking, but without like, you know, any sort of emotion being there. In the middle of the record, we have the song A Man, which is a hilarious interlude, which is backed by, you know, a very intense instrumental with some relentless drumming, like a lot of toms and a lot of noisy guitars. And over this, there is kind of a monologue delivered, which I guess was penned by writer Lindsay Hunter. And the track is this amazing and sharp piece of satire and parody, making fun of this guy who's trying to make sexual advances toward this woman in an office setting. And it's so goddamn over the top. Like, you know, everything from, I want to dip your panties into my coffee because I like a nip of cream in my coffee. I don't want to spoil it because it's so goddamn funny, and it's just so much. Like they just really push it as far as it'll go, and it's easily one of the most entertaining interludes I've heard on an album this year. And as weird and as out of place it felt on the album at first, once I kind of got a sense about what a lot of the songs on this album are about, it fits really snugly into what is like really kind of a lot of the themes of modern contemporary life being so mundane, so awful, love and relationships, and, you know, of course, like macho-ness. Now, how do you follow up such a ridiculous interlude? Of course, by getting even more ridiculous. Like on the song It's Your Knees, which not only has one of the heaviest and most fun riffs on the entire record, but the lyrics seem to be about like rejecting somebody who potentially has rejected you, but doing it like over some kind of really dumb, petty, like physical quirk or like very tiny insignificant piece of like physical appearance. Literally, it's your knees. I didn't want you anyway. Your knees are ugly. That's not a direct quote, but you know, that's kind of the general sense of the track. The very linear and tense and noisy Won't Tell You My Sign is literally about just like making fun of people who heal other people with gems and like put way too much into stuff like astrology. As I said, the track has a linear structure to it. It just kind of gets more and more and more intense and noisy until it reaches this really high and intense and distorted climax at the very finish and then just vaporizes. The high-octane worldwide marine asset financial analyst, as well as the track Have You Ever Been Furniture, are both just as ridiculous as they sound, which segues pretty well into the track Activia, which is one of the slowest and sludgiest juggernauts on the entire album. I do enjoy the track, even if I do wish the ending was a bit more consequential, and I kind of wish that for the album itself too, because while I do like the closing track, it's not really a moment for me that wraps up the entire theme or the sound of the album. It does kind of add to this quality where it's just like, it just kind of feels like a compilation of tracks. You know, there's certainly a theme to a lot of these songs, but it doesn't really sort of seem to have a set or a well-conceived ending to it. And I do think it ends at a good place in terms of the time length of this record. This thing is about 36 minutes long, and the album is so goddamn aggressive and crazy and off the wall and just like shirt off, sweaty, flailing and lunging in every direction. Like there's only so much of this that I think you could take without the band adding in some other sounds and some more dynamics to just bring some more variety. So if you're looking for an album that really brings the while simultaneously delivering some very funny and satirical and smart food for thought in the lyrics, give this thing a shot. Give this thing a listen. I apologize for not reviewing it earlier. I wish I got to it earlier, and it's because I kind of slept on it a little bit, and now I'm even regretting that. You know, there are some flaws to the flow, and I think the cohesion of the tracks and just the album experience, but there are a lot of solid, incredible individual songs that are easily some of the band's most exciting and most provocative yet. I'm feeling a strong 7 to a light 8 on this album. Transition. Have you given this album a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best. You're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe. And please don't die. Just leave a comment in the comments if you're angry, and make sure you stay hydrated, eat some fruits and vegetables, and check out the other Piss Jeans review next to my head that you should click. Check out another video, watch another video, or subscribe to the channel. And I will see you guys in the next video. Forever.